Hey everyone, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. It started off as a simple joke, or at least, that's what I convinced myself. We were at a cozy, dimly lit restaurant celebrating a friend's birthday. The kind of place where candlelight reflects softly on the wine glasses and laughter drifts gently through the air. My husband, Ethan, sat quietly beside me, as he often did. He wasn't loud or overbearing. He was steady, patient, and calm. It was that calm nature that had drawn me to him. But lately, his quietness felt less like serenity and more like distance. When my friend Lily leaned in and whispered about men who never notice when their wives change something about themselves, I laughed, maybe a little too loudly. "Tell me about it," I said, smiling as all eyes turned toward me. "Ethan still hasn't noticed I cut my hair 3 days ago. Honestly, I could dye it purple, and he'd probably just ask what's for dinner." The table erupted in laughter. A small flicker of guilt passed through me, but the attention felt good. Someone joked that maybe he was just afraid of saying the wrong thing. I played along. "Oh, come on, he doesn't say anything." The laughter grew louder, and for a moment, I let myself enjoy it until I noticed Ethan's expression. That faint, tired smile, the one that hides hurt behind politeness, stopped me cold. But I didn't stop. I made one more joke about how even our dog paid more attention to me than he did. The group roared with laughter. Then Ethan lifted his head. His voice was calm, barely above a whisper, but it cut through the noise. "You know," he said, "it's funny how you complain about being ignored when that's exactly what you've done to me for years." The room fell silent. Even the clinking of glasses seemed to pause. My stomach tightened. I opened my mouth to speak, but he raised a hand. "It's fine," he said softly. "Everyone needs a laugh. I just didn't realize my marriage was the joke." Without another word, he excused himself. No yelling, no anger, just that quiet truth that hurt more than any argument ever could. For what felt like an eternity, no one spoke. My hands trembled in my lap as the weight of the moment settled over me. Lily tried to lighten the mood, whispering that he'd calm down, but even she sounded unsure. I forced a smile. "He's just sensitive," I told myself. But deep down, I knew better. His words haunted me all night. "That's exactly what you've done to me for years." I left early and drove home in silence. When I arrived, his car wasn't in the driveway. I waited alone in the dark living room, still dressed for the evening, watching the clock tick past midnight. 1, 2, still nothing. For the first time in years, I truly reflected on our marriage. Ethan had never been distant or cold. He had always noticed the little things. It was me who had changed. Somewhere along the way, I stopped really seeing him. I would brush off his concern with a distracted, "I'm fine," while staring at my phone. He planned dinners I canceled, brewed coffee I didn't touch. He hadn't ignored me. It was me who ignored him. When he finally returned home around 2 a.m., he looked drained. "Not angry," he said quietly, "just disappointed." "You embarrassed me," he added softly. "I know," I whispered, tears forming. "I know you don't mean to," he said gently, "but you always do." Then he walked past me to the guest room. That quiet hurt more than any shouting ever could. The silence between us felt impenetrable. Lying awake that night, I realized that love isn't always broken by harsh words. It can be chipped away by thoughtless laughter. The next morning, I woke to the sound of the shower running in the guest bathroom. Ethan had left for work early. No note, no goodbye, just absence. Days passed. He kept up with everything, bills, chores, routines, but the warmth was gone. His calm, once comforting, now felt final. Weeks later, at my parents' anniversary dinner, a cousin teased that I always had the last word. Everyone laughed, except Ethan. He gave me that same tired, quiet look. "She always does," he whispered, almost to himself. "Even when it costs her peace." The room went silent. This time, I couldn't brush it off with laughter. After dinner, I found him outside, staring at the city lights. "You don't joke anymore," I said softly. He turned to me, eyes heavy. There's nothing funny left. You took that from me when you made me the punchline. That broke me. I wanted to apologize, but the words felt hollow after years of careless laughter. Finally, I whispered, "Ethan, I miss us. I miss how you used to look at me." He held my gaze for a long moment before replying, "Maybe you should have noticed me when I still did." And in that instant, I understood. Sometimes, the cost of a joke is everything you never intended to lose.